Hello, everyone. Welcome once again to an episode of the Circle of Hope. This podcast is hosted by me. My name is Valerie Hope, and the whole idea is to explore connections with others that help us grow and thrive. Today is a very special episode because not only is the podcast called the Circle of Hope, you're actually witnessing the Circle of Hope. As you look around the screen, if you're looking at us on video, you'll see that each of us have the last name Hope. And that's because we are brother and sister. Here are my three brothers. And I'll start with the youngest to the oldest. Because you want to give the eldest their place too. So I'm just gonna introduce them. And if when I introduce you, just say hello, everybody. So first, we'll start with the youngest of the four is Rolando Hope. Rolando, he is a twin, and you'll in a moment you have to guess which of the two others are his twin. It might be a little tricky today. um, and Roli, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. Hello.
Cool. All right. And then we'll go with the next one up in the twindom is Ricardo Hope. Ricardo, welcome to the podcast.
Hello, how are we doing?
Welcome. Cool. And then our elder brother is Eduardo Hope. Eduardo, welcome to the podcast. Our silent jazz hands. There we go. So before we go any further, I need to ask you all, and I could have asked you this before we started recording, but you know how we do anyway. Can I call you by the way I normally call you, or do you prefer me to use your government names?
I think Mr. Hope is fine. I think
Mr. Hope is fine. Because y'all have nicknames to me, and I just want to know what are you feeling? How are you feeling?
Yeah, just like a regular conversation.
Yeah,
regular?
Yeah.
All right, so then I can introduce you. So Rolando, I call you Roli. Ricardo, I call you Ricky, and Eduardo, I call you Dito. That's how we're gonna roll in our conversation, because essentially we're talking to, people are listening to us, but we're talking with each other.
Sibling talk.
Sibling talk. Yeah, sibling talk. So I invited the three of you to this podcast because I love you all. First of all, you guys are amazing humans, and we all talk quite a lot. And I have a lot of support and a lot of guidance I get from the three of you. And I thought, what a good way to share the power of a sibling connection in experiencing the circle. So we'll just start with real basic stuff. Number one is what's it like to have me as your sister? Rolly, don't do that. Don't do that.
Sibling talk.
I play. No, what's it like, not just me as your sister, what's it like to have three siblings, right? All of us have three siblings. So we'll start with that. What's it like to have us as siblings? Who wants to go first?
I just think it's fun. It's
Say
been
more.
fun.
What fun?
It's been fun.
It's been fun.
It's been fun.
Yeah.
It hasn't been hard. And a lot of talk, and especially when we were younger, a lot of fun. A lot of fun and shared terrors.
Fun and shared terrors. Okay.
Right. Shared terror.
Okay.
Oh no, Daddy's gonna find out about this. Oh no, terror, shared terror.
I think
You talk to him. You do it. You go over there. That.
You tell them who broke the window.
Yeah. You tell him whose towel is lying down on top of the door. So first of all,
and a lot of fun.
For context, I think. Yes, we all had the common bond of our childhood for sure. I don't know if I had as much fun with you when I was a child as I do now that we're adults, though. So I get.
It's different. It's
Yeah,
different.
it's different. It's for sure
It's
different.
different.
Ricky and Roli, what's it like for y'all to have siblings?
Oh, I appreciate it. I appreciate it now another level. Now that we're grown and we can relate to each other in adulthood.
Yeah.
It's very neat having you. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Everyone has such a wonderful outlook on life, and I like sharing ideas with y'all, getting to chop up some things with y'all.
Mm.
Um, the the emotional support, mental, you know, psychological um, aspect of things now as adults is pretty neat. Is needful, as we're trying to navigate through situations and circumstances in life, and we all relate pretty good. So we all have good open conversations about things, and
Yeah.
transparent about things, and we bond like that pretty effectively. I think we do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would agree with all that's been said. You guys are very unique personalities. We can talk about anything, and whenever we're together, we're usually talking for 2 hours minimum.
Yeah.
That's just like that's the going in. Do you got 2 hours? No, then you might as well just hang it up. Um, and I think what Dito was saying about, it was fun as kids, and then Rolly was saying as now as adults with adult experiences, dealing with the world, and I think that's and I think part of it is, kind of reminiscing about things that have happened or stories from our childhood, and then, things that are happening now in the future as we're as adults. That's always really cool to experience.
To connect that way. Yeah, I could see we're definitely connected, but all of us have already mentioned how different we each are. So for some families that doesn't work. Having such distinct, unique personalities doesn't necessarily bond people. So what is it about us being so different from one another that has actually bonded us even more? Why? How did that happen?
It's interesting. Because Rolly and I obviously as twins, right? I put let the cat out of the bag. As twins, we were always together, right? I mean, and I didn't know how people could, mix us up. Like, oh, are you Rolando? Are you Ricardo? It's like, we look. I thought we looked totally different, but maybe that
You do.
as children we were a little bit more similar. Um,
You know
No,
and then.
why?
no,
I
you
mean,
know.
that's that's possible. But I think with between you and Dito, because of your, it's 4 years difference between us and you, Valerie, and then like what is it,
6 years.
6 years, right? And so like that, we weren't necessarily traveling in the same circles. We all had like our own unique times in our
Yeah.
house, in school, and so that made it um, I think that made it a little easier to deal with, right? We weren't
Mm.
like, you wearing my clothes, no, you're wearing my clothes. Like there was never that was never going to be a thing.
Not even between the two of you, Rolly and Ricky, you guys didn't have that kind of, I don't know what that like little rivalry or anything about stuff.
No,
Toys, even, no?
no. I mean,
Okay.
Not really.
it's funny. Even like when we ate dinner, we had to sit on like assigned sides because he's left-handed. I'm right, so it's like there's
Mm,
all everything was. We always had like our own little thing. Yeah,
mhm.
Hmm.
even like in soccer, there's no competition. Baseball, basketball. We just had our own things.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. I will say, I never wanted any sisters. I'm so glad I did not have any sisters, primarily because I didn't have to share anything. I always got my own stuff, my own room, my own toys, my own clothes. So I had that benefit, but I didn't know as boys if you all had that kind of freedom that I felt growing up, or if you felt like there was more, I don't know, there was more hand-me-downs or more expectation because you guys were all boys. Was there anything like that that maybe I wasn't privy to?
In my case, didn't have any of those issues. It was all very free. I was free to act. Didn't have to share anything.
Yeah.
I didn't have to share anything.
Were you
I
really
didn't have
free
that
though, or you were
concern.
just
Well,
you just
in
were
ultimate
you were
sense,
free?
no. I just didn't have, yeah, I didn't have to worry about someone taking my stuff and yeah,
Yeah. Yeah,
yeah.
6 years
So
difference is a
it
big, yeah.
worked. That helped, I guess.
I would say, Dito, you too, and I want to go around the circle too and hear maybe a little bit more about what is unique about each of us, right? So I think that might be helpful for people to see just how different, right? It's one thing for us to be siblings and to have the difference in age and gender and twins and not twins, all that stuff. But like Dito, I would say if I had to characterize you was kind of like the monk of the family in so many ways. Monk in the sense that you were pretty reserved growing up. My point of view from observing you, that you kind of kept to yourself a lot um, more quiet, definitely way more intellectual. I mean, the fact that your main sources of the toys that I saw you engage with most often were model airplanes that took a lot of time to put together and a lot of methodical, analytical kind of tasks, and also like reading encyclopedias and books, like just that was kind of your thing. So I think for my perception of you was that that was your thing. In fact, to this day, the way that I engage you often is you've been my Google before there was Google. I would say, hey, what does this mean? When did this happen? And you would give me this huge, like, hey, you type it out for me, or you talk to me and you explain this is that. And, because you love history and political science and you have that brain. So you've been that guy for me in our family. That's one of the differences I see. Um,
Mm.
so I think it would be cool just to,
Yeah,
yeah, you'd see that.
that's that was definitely the way that I lived inside the house, right, with the family.
Hmm.
Um, and I spent a lot of time outside too, but outside I wasn't with y'all, I was with my friends. And with my friends, we were not reading books and putting
Yeah.
together model airplanes. We were riding a bicycle
Yeah.
and getting into ditches and over berms and or skating, like roller skating and jumping around and uh, getting into all sorts of crazy trouble with neighborhood dogs and
You had a skateboard for a little while, though, didn't
had a skateboard, but my thing wasn't really skateboarding. My thing was more roller skating and bicycling. So, um, and then um, and then playing stickball on the street and barefoot racing on the street and just hanging out with the friends outside of the house. Inside the house, everything you said about it. So yeah, both of those things.
So is that more? That sounds like that was more in Panama, not
So
here
yeah,
in the
in Panama,
States.
definitely
Yeah.
in Panama was definitely because I had my friends were in Panama, right? Once we moved, no more friends. Um, I had to make new friends, and with those new friends, they weren't in the neighborhood on the street playing stickball, running around, or roller skates, and um, there was I made a friend who had a BMX bike when we first moved to Georgia, when we first moved to the United States. But he had a BMX bike. I didn't have a BMX bike. Only he had the bike. So, and he let me ride it a couple of times and then we moved away again. So didn't really get to develop that particular friendship. But I did have that friendship, but it was very brief. And then as we continued moving elsewhere, well, friendships change because you're a different age and you're doing different things, right? So we moved to uh, Grovetown. Didn't have any friends in Grovetown. In Augusta, Georgia.
But wait, for the benefit of the people who might be listening and watching this, so our father was in the military, he was in the army, and so we were often moving because he was stationed in new places. It's not like we weren't in a witness
That's
protection program, or I
That's
mean,
right.
I want to make sure that no one's making up a story about like why are y'all moving so much?
What's
What are
going
you running
on?
away from?
So we migrated from Panama, Central America, went to the United States, lived in a number of places, and in each of those places, I was never able to recreate the type of friendships that I had um, back home in Panama. So the types of friends I did have, it it was different, right? Didn't get to go outside and play with them
Mhm.
and hang out and do all that. So I did a lot more staying in the house, reading, making
Okay.
model airplanes and that sort of thing.
Mm, that's a
So
version of you that we got to see.
so right, and especially Roli and Ricky, because by that point they were old enough to be conscious of that. When we left Panama, they were just 4 years old. You guys were just four, so
Yeah.
um, you didn't get to see me running around, running away from the Diablitos in Panama Carnaval or anything like that. You
His
didn't get to see
mischief
that part,
era.
right?
There.
Um, so, which is the reason why I still have those friends in Panama. We
Mm,
have those stories in common,
yeah.
and they're probably the one group of friends because I do have friends all over the place, but that is the one group of friends with whom I spent a lot more time developing our friendship and doing all kinds of different things. Other
Okay.
friends, it was very short. So
Okay.
you guys got to see me a lot more at home
Yeah.
doing, you know, reading and all that, all that other stuff.
Got it. So but I think all of us brought a different personality in some way, shape, or form alive when we were at home than when we were outside of the home. Some of it because of our environment in the house, some of it because of the environment when we were moving, right? The different cultures and different communities that we lived in. So yeah, that tracks. That tracks. So I want to go back to thinking about how each of us is unique. I'm curious, Roli or Ricky, any observations, anything that from us that you see as,
Mhm.
Roli, you good?
Yes.
Yeah, any observations about what makes us unique or anything that you'd like to share about that?
What makes us unique? You said what makes us unique?
No, when you're talking about
UNIQUE. Unique.
Yes. Oh, you have kids now. Yeah, when you think about us as siblings, because we have all said in some way, shape, or form how the closeness that we have, and because we're all very distinct, very unique individuals, right? We don't all think the same, we don't all behave the same, we have some differences. And so I'm curious about what differences have made a difference for you. What differences that you see in our little quad here have been the unique the unique value or the unique perspective or the unique character or characteristic that you notice or that matters to you.
Um, well, I think as everybody aged and went their directions, what kind of learning everybody did on their own, and now I can appreciate the fact that you've been all over the world, Valerie, and that Dito lives in another country right now, and Ricky used to be in the military and seen some combat and has done some things, and that's in the service of the of the United States. So it was kind of like neat to hear you speak now from that kind of a perspective on life, and I appreciate that your experiences. And when we talk, I hear your experiences mingled in between the words of whatever we're talking about, and it's kind of neat to appreciate you on that other level like that. Of course, we're not children anymore, so the way we relate to each other now, being as adults, and like I said earlier, we don't have any competition thing about ourselves, which I think can also kind of add a great value to when we come together, because we're not trying to compete. So what'd you do lately? And man, I got to do that next week so I can feel like I'm, you know, yeah. We don't do those type things. So I think we could appreciate everything we're doing in life, right where we are. We can kind of like, oh, for real, you doing tennis lessons now? Oh, wow, that's what's up. Yeah, you. Oh, okay. Okay, Ricky, you're coaching now. What you trying to become a principal? Oh, wow, that's cool. Okay, Dito, wow, you developed a new. Okay, yeah, new hobby. That's what's up. We can kind of appreciate what's
Yeah.
going on in each other's lives and really kind of get involved or share things on another level, and those are some cool things, because as adults, sometimes our world is it becomes is different. I appreciate you guys, and so I guess for that reason, it's always a pleasure to talk to you. And like you said, we always stay on the phone for hours. I think being reasonable, everybody's reason their minds. Everybody's mind is very accommodating and reasonable when it comes to how we talk to each other. We're not snooty people. We're not it's not an arrogant thing. Like I said, we're not competing. So it's just easy to just talk and relate to each other. Everybody's approachable, you know, nobody has real attitude problems or anything like that. So we just kind of feel free and liberty to just talk. And I think we take advantage of that really well, and do it really well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think the key is that we're not competing. So we're not trying to gain favor or gain attention, or
Right.
we can just appreciate each other for who we are and what we bring to the
Yeah.
table, not for, oh, because of so and so, because of this, you again, we all have our own thing, and that's,
Yeah.
I think that's refreshing. That's I think that's why we can talk to each other for hours and not feel like I'm just talking to myself. We
Yeah.
have the exact same experiences. So
Yeah.
Right. Right.
That's I've not have you all heard that when you think about some of your friends or colleagues and other people, and that they have that kind of dynamic with their siblings? For me, I can't say that I hear it that often. Especially I think you put the pin on that, Roli, the idea of there's no competition, like but we all have opinions. We don't always agree. We all have our own
Right.
approach and our own point of
Right.
view, and because of all these different lived experiences that you describe. But I think we always wish each other well. We always, we're each other's biggest supporter and
Yeah.
cheerleader.
mhm.
Nobody's hating on anybody, like, oh, Madito there, oh, he's in Spain now, so he thinks that whatever. We don't have any of that stuff. I think we have always been like, really got each other's back, and from that perspective. But what is that?
What made it
What was it
what
that
made it be
created
that way?
that possible?
Mm.
Yeah.
I think there's I mean, look, I think a good, if you look at it from a scientific perspective, Roy and I,
Uh-oh. Yeah, here we
same,
go.
no, you know what I'm saying? We got the same room, you
Yeah.
know, um, I don't think we were ever in the same class. I don't know if like in like preschool, if we were
High
ever in the
school.
same class.
High school.
You
What
were?
class? Just band, right?
High school. Yeah, we were the same, like English class and the same
Oh, okay. So for
math
like AP
class.
math, AP
Uh,
calculus, yeah. But I
um,
think for the most part, we were always in separate classrooms. Like I remember, at least I don't fully remember K4, but I know fifth and sixth grade we were definitely in different classrooms, and so um,
Mm.
I think because of that, even though we were same age, doing the same exact things, we were never competing, with each other about anything, like academically. So I think that helps. And now I don't know if other my other friends, if their siblings have competition or not. I don't think so. Maybe not like explicit competition. But they also don't, get on a phone or Zoom and talk for 1 or 2 hours, every month or so like we do.
We're being
So that's
conservative. We say 2 hours minimum, but we average probably like 4. Like
is it
real
really that
talk.
much?
Oh my
Sometimes, yeah.
goodness. Ricky, seriously, we
Yeah.
probably average 4. I mean, and I'm sure people want to hear, like, what are these people talking about? Can talk for hours that often. Because, I mean, we're not going to do that here, by the way. This is not going to be a 4-hour podcast just in honor of the family together. But I think, the idea of what is it that drives, as different as we are and as distinct as we are, but we still have this moment of connection. As much as we appreciate and support each other, like for 4 hours, what are y'all talking about that much? How would you? Yeah, what is that, Roli?
I think two things come to mind when you said that. We like to talk, but we know how to listen too, because it takes both to be able to continue a conversation. So I think we do those things in such a degree, to such a degree that if we make time for each other and we like to hear what each other has to say. Yeah,
Yeah.
we appreciate each other's mindsets and what we bring to the table. And yeah, you're right. The conversation could be, we go from subject to subject and we still flowing with it. And I think that's cool. Yeah, like I say, I appreciate it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
It's
definitely.
even more so than what we did when we were growing up. I don't remember us having conversations growing
No,
up.
not like
Not,
that.
yeah,
No.
definitely not like that. But even just like childish, we never. That wasn't, let's get on the phone, let's talk to Dito or Val.
Mm-mm.
Like no.
No, when we were all younger, we're still we were having um, a different version of that type of communication because we were laughing together a lot. We were
Yes.
laughing about something that was on TV, or we're laughing about something that happened to each other, or we were laughing about getting in trouble. We were
Uh,
laughing at everything.
I was just thinking about when Dito cramped up on the couch that one time. Remember that?
No,
When I did
No?
what?
You
he got
I think it
cramp.
was my first experience with a cramp. You cramped
Oh, when I got a
and you were
cramp. Yeah,
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 you
yeah.
were
Leg cramp.
screaming. Yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
Well, do you remember that?
yeah,
And so just
yeah.
so I guess look,
A
reminiscing.
hamstring. It was a hamstring cramp, and I was yelling for the
Yeah.
hot towel. Yeah, 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 yeah.
But what
So
was it about it that was so memorable? I don't remember.
I,
It was
he
just
was he
he
was
was
it
screaming
was
like
loud.
something
surprising.
he
It
was
was
screaming like something happened.
that not like something happened. Something was happening. That was the thing.
Yeah.
And I think you guys were surprised,
Yeah.
right? I think that was part of it too.
Stop.
Like what you saying? Because I was cussing and everything. Like,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
Oh,
know, I can tell.
that,
Yeah.
I
You
think
remember
Yeah.
that's
now,
what it
so
was.
that's
Yes.
what.
Okay.
Yeah. By that
Well,
time you started getting real serious about soccer, right? And you were kind of playing pretty hard. You're
that was
working out pretty hard with soccer.
that was after the first 2 weeks
We're still
of
in Hawaii.
high school. Yeah, in high school at Leilehua High School, and it was a tryout. I think it was a tryout for the school soccer team. And it was 2 weeks in, and I'd never done that type of training. It was hard. And 2 weeks in, um, my legs were killing me. And I was sitting on the floor we were all in front of the TV watching. I don't remember what we were watching, but we were all sitting in front of the TV, and I was sitting on the floor, and I just happened to flex one of my legs. I can't remember which, probably the right leg. Um, and I flexed it, and the hamstring muscle
Into a knot.
just, yeah, turn it. And that was the first time I'd ever experienced that. I didn't know what a cramp was like until
Yeah.
then. and that's the worst muscle you can get a cramp in.
It's a big muscle.
And so of
Debilitating.
course, it was, I was dying. I was literally
Yeah.
dying there, screaming, "What?" It was,
Yeah.
Our
Yeah.
usual
I knew
reserved,
instinctively,
composed brother all of a sudden
what I
starts
wanted too.
screaming.
I knew instinctively I needed something hot to relax the muscle. So that's why I was calling for a hot towel. So right now I'm thinking, what? Did you guys even understand what I was saying? Give me a hot towel. What?
Y'all probably started laughing or something. Did we
What?
start
Probably.
laughing
What do you
at
want
or
that
something?
for?
I think
Probably.
we
Of
did it. I
course.
think Valerie did it. I think somebody got it.
Did I?
So you got,
I don't
that
remember
was.
that.
Yeah,
What you really
somebody
needed
got
though
it.
were like salt supplements, but we obviously they had no
No,
context.
See, today I would be saying, here's some oil of magnesium.
Sure.
Put some the
In
magnesium
the
oil on
long
you.
term
Yeah.
or in the medium term, but in the immediate term, I needed what I
I
needed.
need a hot
Like
towel.
now, damn it. And then, what? Oh,
Yeah, because we didn't
wow.
cuss. We didn't
Right.
use
So it
profanity
was,
in our
I
house.
think it
So it
was,
was
I think
like
it was that.
strong language.
You're hurting. Ha ha ha. That's so
I
of
mean,
course that.
I think Rolly was probably laughing at you. I wasn't. I don't think I was laughing. I take it very seriously, Tito.
You took
Very
it very seriously.
We
concerned.
Yeah.
felt your pain.
No, but I think that's the other thing. We tended to, I don't say like make fun of other people, but like we're
Yeah. Just
very,
yeah.
yeah,
Playful, playful.
Playful,
yes,
yeah.
very playful.
But
Yeah.
we were mean spirited. We poke fun and we tease each other, but I don't remember us being mean spirited, at least not to each other's
Not.
face.
No.
It was
Not
never like
really.
a
Right.
demeaning
No.
kind
No.
of
Not meaning. No.
joking. It was or certain maybe some sarcasm, but
Funny,
not
yeah.
like in a
It
not in a
wasn't biting.
rude.
Yeah, it wasn't like a
Yeah.
yeah. It was
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
more like I think it's like a situational funny. Like you can't find a sock. Well, you'll find it. He asked you. That kind of stuff.
Right.
So I think one thing I wanted to at least to share with everybody that's listening too is how much support and guidance we have received from one another. Right? We've talked a bit about how each of us are different. We have different lived experiences. We come from different perspectives, and but I think I can say, and I'd love to hear all of us share maybe one or two things that we've gotten from each other. But I'll say that Dito, you and I went to the same university. Went to the University of Alabama. You were a couple years ahead of me, and you were really instrumental in helping me build like a social foundation there because you had this whole international group of people that you spend a lot of time with, right? Playing soccer and other activities. And that was when I first started tapping into the desire that I had of being around an international community. It was huge. I didn't know that I was missing it until I met your friends and I started to see like, oh my gosh, I feel so much more me in
Yeah.
an
This is
environment with
possible.
people from other
Better.
immigrants. Hmm?
Yeah. University. I would say the biggest benefit to anyone who wants to take advantage of it about going to university, aside from studying, is meeting all the different types of people
Yeah.
that go there and who are studying too.
Yeah.
And not only students, but also scholars,
Yeah.
professionals. Um,
That was
and
helpful.
in a university, they are from all over the world,
Hmm.
and it's fascinating. And I feel like my personality also blossomed as a result
Awesome.
of a lot of those contacts, a lot
Yeah.
of those relationships. My best friend became, or rather, is from a different country, from
Yeah.
Albania. And I ended up marrying someone from a different country, Spain.
Hmm.
And um, a lot of the people that I'm still in contact with whom I have significant friendships and work relationships and um,
That was it.
exchanging how to do life. Come from all over the place, all over the world, doing
But
different types of work. And
that's
that
one of
my
the
first
things I
experience of
appreciate.
that was university. Yeah.
Yeah, I appreciated that about you. That's connecting me that way, and we still have that. There are places and times we've done some of the same personal development, so we're able to connect in that way. We followed each other, or I followed you, right, in some ways, shape, or form, and I think that has helped me to have someone with whom I can share an experience and get some feedback. And then Roli, you and we tend to have, I think, probably more philosophical conversations and then much more emotional. Like you're kind of like my emotional support brother, I think. Right? In a way, because you have, I think, out of all four of us, an ability to pick up emotions and much more ease, I think, in expressing them or at least talking about them than any of us, I think, developed, at least outwardly, right? And talk, maybe you all feel it deeply, but I think really you have this ease in talking about it. And so I found myself, coming to you and having like more emotional processing. I think you hear them in a different way than maybe Ricky or Dito would hear it, in my experience with you. And then I'll last Ricky, I think for you has been more, intellectual in some ways, maybe very strategic and practical. You and I talk a lot about work. It just seems to be the topic that we get both a lot of joy and fulfillment from, talking about ideas, talking about we're always joking about how you're my consultant and I like owe you money or something. As I know that's that fun and play
That's a
that you
joke.
like. And that's your playful way of saying how much you value the work we do together.
That's value, all right.
Is now recorded. It is captured on film. So that's kind of how I get support from each of you. And I will also say that, Roli, you created you designed the initial logo for my business. And I don't know if you helped me come up with the name for it, or was it Eva? I don't know. Was that you, Roli? Connect to Joy?
I think so.
I think it was
We
you.
kicked it around. We kicked it around a few times.
Yeah. So there have been these moments, also artistic moments too. And then, like I said, Dito, I'd come to you for any time I have questions about what's going on in the world and I need some perspective. So I'd love to hear each of you maybe share what do all of us bring to you? What's something that you value or benefit from having each of us as your sibling?
I'd like to say that, Valerie, you provide the connection. I mean, you're the one that calls or reaches out, to our parents more than, at least for me, more than I do. Um, and so you provide the platform for us to connect. And then would we connect as much if you didn't ask, hey, let's have a conversation, let's talk about this, let's meet up.
Mm.
I don't know if that would happen as
Mm.
much. I mean, I still haven't been down to your new apartment. So,
Yeah.
I mean, you've been up here, several times, and so it's just like an example there. For Roli and Dito, I don't know if we necessarily just like reach out and just like, hey, let's chat about something. It's usually very, I guess in my mind, is strategic. Hey, so Roli, I want to talk to you about this, and Dito, I want to talk to you about that, and then like, all right, okay, thank you. And
Are there
that's,
specific things you reach out to them for?
Rolly, maybe we'll have more conversations about like religious stuff, in church, and then Dito more about either teaching or um
Soccer.
soccer. Yeah, definitely, yeah, coaching stuff. Yeah, that's
Specific.
it.
Yeah, strategic.
Okay. About Dito or Roli, what do you reach out to us for?
I guess I could say that I like how solid all three of y'all are. You'll be very solid people, very dependable. You're honest. I can get a straight answer, very thoughtful answers. Serious. You're serious minded. All three of y'all are very serious minded people. You're serious about life. you make good choices. You know, you don't play with your lives. You know, you don't play around. You don't take things for granted. So that kind of that level of I guess gravity. You take things serious, and I could appreciate that because I don't think everybody does take life seriously like that. But then you also all three are very creative in your own way, and it also kind of it's interesting to just to observe and behold that, to kind of see that, wow, you always have a fresh look on things. You're easy to talk to for that reason. I think that's why we talk as we do, because it's easy to talk to people like that, because they always have a fresh something
Fresh
to say to
outlook.
you. Yeah, fresh something. It's not here we go with
Told
that.
you this already.
Yeah.
We
You
talked
do
about
have a little
this.
bit of that with me, though. Come on. Like, Valerie, all right, okay.
But that's, but those things, we still know what makes us us, though. We still know who we're talking to, but it's cool to I appreciate your minds. All
Sure.
three of you have a very, very, very great outlook on life. You always you upbeat people. I don't go to you expecting anything but a great response. You know what I'm saying? A nice, a good time on the phone, something fresh perspective, a good talk. I'm gonna walk away with something positive every time. I'm not gonna be feeling worse than I did before I called. It's not gonna be those type situations, and I think that's commendable. I think some people, everybody's siblings, I don't think they may not be able to get that from one another. Yeah, every time I call you or talk to you on the phone about it, I know we're gonna have a good time on the phone. We're gonna share some great ideas. You're gonna put something on my mind, that I could chew on for a while. Yeah. Everybody's got their own beef jerky that I could chew on, their own
Yeah,
flavor.
their own
No, but
flavor.
yes, it's
That's right.
good. Yeah. Yeah, it's good
Interesting.
stuff. I appreciate it.
Dito, what about you? How
Hmm.
do you benefit from each of us?
I benefit from the connection, first of all, um, because I like to think about each of you and how each one of you show up in how I do certain things, how I feel about certain things. You're part of who I am, and sometimes I might be sitting in a bus somewhere, going somewhere, and I might be wondering all of a sudden, how would Roli feel about this person or this situation, or even more abstractly, like some idea that I'm working on, or what would Valerie say about this? Which is a little bit easier because you're probably the most talkative one of the four of us,
Yeah.
Valerie.
That's why I have a podcast.
And you and I talk more often, so
Yeah.
you're in my head a little bit more. Um, and then Ricky will show up sometimes when I'm thinking of either uh, teaching, because we've had a lot of conversations over the years about um, teaching specifically in public schooling, or education more broadly, like what works, what doesn't work, um, or even more broadly, education as a as a social phenomenon, like what happens in the home or what's not happening in the home, and politically, how does that show up? And maybe I'll read something on the internet about some issue here in Spain regarding public education, and he's in my head. My brother Ricardo would think about it this way or that way. So there's a lot of situations um, any given day when you guys are with me. Um, and when I do reach out, which is not often because um, I'm just not the reaching out kind of person. Um, but when I do reach out, it's for more of that connection, more of the fun and games, conversation, or simply just to see how you guys are doing.
Hmm.
You know, to get updated on your children, get updated on your work, um, just to stay connected because I
Hmm.
appreciate the connection.
Hmm. That's lovely. Yeah, you guys don't reach out as often as I feel I reach out to you all individually. And by the way, I know when the four of us get together, we can have these 4 hour long conversations. But also when I reach out one on one, we have like really lengthy conversations too, right? Individually. Um, I
Yeah, and we need to make sure that we keep them, managed, right?
what's that supposed
Those-
to mean?
No, just sometimes when if you call, we try to set expectations in terms of, is this 5 minutes or is this
This is Ricky
something
the
different?
principal. He's
I
practicing his
learned.
principal
Principal
voice.
hat. No, you know what? I learned that in a understanding men workshop, and I practiced with you guys right away because one of the things I learned is that men listen, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong here, but this is the way I learned it. Men listen to for what's the point and what's the problem. Like when you listen to someone speak, and women often listen for how can I help? What can I do to fix it? Right? That's how we, so the way in which we listen is different already. When I reach out, oftentimes is to connect. Like Dito was saying, is just to check in, say hello, because I feel like I need to stoke the bond of fight with that conversation. It's not always because I have a problem that needs to be solved, or I have some advice that I need, or maybe sometimes there's not even a point. It's just the point is connect. I just want to hear what's going on in your life and that sort of thing. But because I learned that that's how men listen, I often have to preface what I'm going to say. Hey, I'm calling just to connect, or I'm calling just to chat. So you all know the point right away, and you have some time, right? Or if I have a specific thing, I say, hey, I just need an answer to these questions. I have, I may need 10
Mm.
minutes. So I'm trying to like really preempt, kind of prime the conversation. Does it work? Is it?
Well, so you called the other day. You said it's 5 minutes,
And
but
then
we
it
were
was
on the
two.
phone.
No, come on.
Yeah. That time was short. But
Wow.
no, but that I think we didn't we just talk this week for like an hour?
Your point is,
I was like,
That's the Marine Corps officer talking there.
yeah.
that was my connection time, right? But you had time, but I don't I usually, especially Ricky, I don't think Roli has requested this of me. Roli, do I ask you how much time you have? I don't think so. I think we just like, hey, what's up? What's
No,
going on?
no. I'll just let you know. Hey, I got to go. No, but no, that's cool how we can. But I
Interesting.
think that's cool how we can do that though, because sometimes it is something specific you want to talk about, or something, a question, or something you had in mind already going in the conversation, and then sometimes it is to connect, like you were saying. And yeah, I appreciate both of that. Both of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I do. I'm trying to anyways. Dito, I think the same with you, especially because the time difference. And by the way, if so no one is guessing that we all live in different places. So Ricky, you and I live in Texas and about 45 minutes away from each other. So we do get to see each other in person more frequently. Roli's in Alabama, Dito, you're in Spain. And so coordinating something like this, sometimes, we have to be real intentional about connecting. At least I know I do. But I don't want to, as we are coming towards the end of our conversation, I don't want to be remiss in mentioning the role our parents played in creating this dynamic for us, right? Because it doesn't just happen, by chance. So I'm curious about how would you describe the role that mama and daddy, that's how we call our parents, mama and daddy, um, played in us building this type of circle with one another. Yeah, good and bad. Let's just name it. Sometimes it was really positive, sometimes it was not. We learn, just as kids do. So yeah.
I think
Definitely
probably the
establish a
biggest,
pattern.
Almost definitely, because they do it with their siblings, and
right.
especially Daddy and my mom. Yeah, they actually both of them. Yeah, they do it with their siblings. They keep connected. And we saw that over the years. Listen to them speak on the phone. We'd actually go up there, to visit, our
Mhm.
aunts and uncles. So we got to see that. Oh, okay,
Yeah.
this is something we
Yeah.
can do that.
They weren't strangers to each other. They knew each other, right? Not
Well,
just,
yeah,
oh, you grew
well,
up together and then now you're no, like they still maintain those
they
connections.
maintained. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think and then the other part is how much we all four did together, right? Going to church together, going to, the dances and just,
Doing
you know,
scouts,
scouts. Yeah,
Mhm.
playing
yeah, right. I
sports.
think we're all four of us at the summer camp that one time together.
Yeah.
And so,
At one
yeah, I
time.
think, yeah.
Yeah, right.
I
And so
volunteered at Boy Scout
Va-
camp in summer
Valerie was
because,
a
yeah, I
Valerie
wanted
was an
to
honorary Boy Scout before girls
basically,
were in the Boy Scouts of
Uh,
America.
that's
yeah,
right.
trendsetter,
Right.
I like to, yeah, we
But
shared a
but
lot.
yeah, so I think because of that, we were that has influenced how we connect and how we, present to each other because we got shared experiences, but we're also very different people.
mhm.
Um, so yeah.
Yeah. And I think we've already alluded to this. We grew up in a household where Daddy was kind of the disciplinarian of the house. He was very he didn't have any bones about telling us when we were out of line or even if we thought it was unfair, it didn't matter. And so I think we all bonded over that too. We were kind of like, okay, well, let's united front.
We were
Does
never
no one
out
get
of
picked off the
line.
herd? What?
Yeah, we were never out of line.
Yeah.
No, we are
No,
not.
Well, yeah,
he was very proactive about that. So
we
that
were
was
that family that would go to someone else's house and like sit and just wait. You can't. Can we go play inside? Nope. Don't ask. We'll just sit here and wait. And I think that's very different than a lot of other. I mean, even my own family. We don't. My kids. We don't do that.
Right.
Um. And so I think that does impact how we are too because we're highly disciplined in that sense. Like we didn't mess around. Like no, there's
Yeah.
no running. If we're not supposed to run inside. We weren't running inside.
Yeah. We all went to the same boot camp.
Yeah.
yeah. We
What are
went
you
to
gonna say, Roli?
pre-boot camp.
Hmm. Oh, I was gonna say, like Ricky, with you, like, what are some things that you feel, or do you think there's some things that you can do as a dad right now, so that when your children are like our ages and stuff, that they're doing this? Is there something that you think you could be doing with them now that could foster that?
Uh, you know,
Reverse engineering.
I think that what we're doing right now is what is helpful for
Yeah,
them, right?
for
Because
them,
they
right?
they
They
hear
see.
me, they see, oh, another hour-long conversation. It's like they see that, and so I think that by itself,
So on the seed.
yeah, they're like, oh yeah, you can maintain a connection even as adults, right?
Yeah,
We do make an effort to go visit, so either you guys come visit us or we go visit, right? So they see that too, at least a desire to do those things. And so I think that helps. We're not just like, oh, you're here and we just won't ever see you again.
yeah,
We want them to see their cousins and they want to see their cousins, and so that's
yeah.
good.
Yeah. I guess some people probably try to dodge each other sometimes. Like, oh man, oh, my brother's calling. Tell him I'm not home. I'm not. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, some people
Hmm.
probably dodge each other, and the children see
Yeah,
that, and they're like, oh, that's okay. So as
that's
adults,
normal.
you don't have to deal with your siblings no more as adults. So I'm going to choose to do that, not deal with them no more. I think
Hmm.
that's
You
probably
always
super.
have that choice.
Hmm.
You always have that choice.
Yeah,
Um, I think part of what we've been talking about here is um, we enjoy each other's company. So why
that's
would
right.
we do that?
That's right. We want to get together. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. In fact, Roli, when you and I went to Spain in December and Christmas 2024,
Yeah, this
2023,
past Christmas.
24, yeah, 2024, we went to
Yeah,
to
New Year's
spend
25.
Christmas in Spain or holiday time. And when I came back to Texas, and Ricky, I was hanging out with your family, and your kids started to ideate when they could go to Spain together. That was interesting to hear them like, oh, we should
That's
go as
right.
siblings too. That they, not with the parents, not with like mom and dad taking us or whatever, but like as siblings, like the older ones were talking about that. I thought that was really cool. That was a nice
Yeah,
moment
yeah.
to see and hear that.
Keep a
Roli,
good
what about
thing
you?
going.
How do you do this with your kids?
Um, I'm still trying to figure it out.
They're still too young. They're
So
still
yeah,
little
so
kids.
I got four children. One 23-year-old, an 18-year-old, and two 7-year-olds. Of course, the two 7-year-old twins. Just the way they get along right now, I think that's they're locked in for life. I see them doing this all the way to late adulthood. Yeah, they're gonna be locked in.
Mm-hmm.
The 23 and the 18-year-old. I'm still trying to nourish that. See how that can start to gain some more fire, more
Mm-hmm.
more
Build a connection.
build it up. Yeah, yeah, because they're more distant. I guess growing up this kind of age, sometimes they send texts and they do Instagram. That's how they kind of get in touch with each other. But they're not spending no 2 hours on the phone and stuff like that. Not
Yeah.
yet.
They're kind of quiet too, so they don't like to talk as much as we
Right,
do.
right. Yeah,
Probably.
yeah.
Maybe.
But that's just how it is today. It might change as they get older and decide that yeah, there's room for my sister. Yeah, there's room for my brother. And that's another thing we do well. We make time for each other.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we take the time for each other because even if something's going on and you call Valerie or you call Ricky or we talk Dito, we can carve out some time. We're willing to do it. We're willing to carve out some time for each other. Really make have a
Mm-hmm.
good moment. Yeah, and
That's awesome.
we don't
Yeah, I
dismiss
think
each other.
our parents, like I said, I think we said Daddy, he helped us bond. We kind of all had the same disciplined household growing up. I think Mama, because she also encouraged us to participate in a lot of activities outside of the home. I think in some of the scouting and things at church or band and all that, we also had those connections. I did want to bring something up that Ricky, you mentioned this in passing before we started, this idea of when other people interact with siblings, that sometimes they kind of start sowing the seeds of competition and comparison among them. And I'm curious if that ever happened with any of us. Like, were you hearing? Because I think, Dito, I got a little bit of it in Alabama. I think because we were in similar circles, and I was like, when I was the president of the International Student Association, and you were the president the year after I left, I think, because you started your master's program. And I think there were some, maybe it was just in my head, like, I wouldn't have done it that way. Or, Tito, what are you doing? No, we should do it. Like, maybe there was some of that, but we haven't like always done the same activities. So that's the only thing that I can think of that we had some similarities. We weren't in the same classes. We didn't have the same course of study. Even in high school, I don't think people knew we were related. I think you were like under the radar, right? I don't, do you? Did you have that?
In high school,
Because we just
um,
overlapped by a couple years.
um, high school, yeah, 2 years ahead. Um, I don't think we had the same teachers even.
Mm-mm.
Like, do you remember who your English teacher was, or your chemistry teacher, or math? Well, you remember who your math teacher was, right? That was Miss what's her name?
Shaw.
Miss Shaw. I never had Miss
One
Shaw.
year I had Shaw. I don't know about the others.
Right. So, for example, there's that. We didn't have the
Okay.
same
Same teacher.
teachers.
Yeah.
I was only there for 2 years,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
right?
And
So I started
those are the
high
2 years that
school.
I was like the most under the radar too. So I was just like, oh my gosh, where are we
So,
now?
right. So,
Okay.
I did 2 years of high school in Hawaii and 2 years of high school in Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
So even that was fragmented for me. So we didn't get to coincide
Yeah.
there. And at university, shoot, at university, what what ended up happening was after you graduated and I went and I stayed at university doing the master's program, my participation in the International Student Association was more of a recruitment. I didn't really want to do that. Nobody else would.
Oh.
So, and of
Did I
course,
start like a lineage? Was it like
the
a
way,
royalty thing? Like
like a real,
the hope, you have to
I wouldn't
continue the hope
exactly,
legacy.
I wouldn't exactly put it that way. Because if so, then I killed it because
Oh.
like killed it off.
Oh.
Not like I killed it. Like no, I killed it
I was
off.
like, okay, you thought you killed it. No, you killed it.
No, I killed it off.
Yeah, it could
Because
have
of
been
course
sustained.
I was gonna do it the way I was gonna do it. Because
Yeah,
I'm in graduate school, y'all. I don't have time for all this foolishness.
yeah.
I'm in graduate school. I don't have. Okay, let's do it this way.
Yeah.
Who are these people? Why aren't they doing office hours? Who? Oh, so another graduate student also want. I remember a lot of conversations with the other participants in the association
Yeah.
that were rough, like rough conversations,
Okay.
like get out of my office, rough,
Ooh,
right?
yeah. We have
Um,
different personalities.
different personalities.
Okay.
I'm more
Not
introverted.
not just you and me, but I'm saying we also the membership was different as we transitioned. So yeah, it
That's
wasn't
right.
just yeah. You
And
weren't
and the circumstances were a little different. Um, there was just a lot going on. There was a lot going on,
sure.
and of course, I did not work the same way um, that you did, and so of course there were going to be differences in
Yeah.
how we went about things. So
Okay. That's
that's
fair.
that's just the way that was. Um, so I don't know if you felt a little bit competitive because I was there the following year. Was that what
No.
you're saying? No?
No, no, not at all. I think what I
Okay.
was saying is that the dynamic change in how the things were done, because our personalities are very distinct that way. I think
Definitely.
the time
Definitely.
commitment that you had versus what I had, I think was different. Also, the connection I had with people was different. So all of that. But I think it's,
All of
we
that.
see all of these different examples just to say that we have a 2 year, gap in age and in experience. Although we were in some of the same spaces, we were in a different era and while we were in those spaces. But I'm curious with Rolly, you and Ricky, Rolly and Ricky, you guys twins. I mean, you were twinning all the way through, from
Until high school.
K through 12, right? And then you all went your separate paths. So again, just speaking to that idea of other people maybe imposing or other people projecting some of that sibling competition or comparison. What was your experience, if any?
Um,
No, go ahead.
oh well,
Wapitay.
I think, well, initially after high school, because like you said, everything was together to high school. But once Ricky went off to the Naval Academy, and I also had a Navy ROTC scholarship, so we're kind of both setting our future toward military, Navy specifically. I think once we once that was established and that got going, I think from the summer of me going to college, after he's already gone to college in Maryland and I'm going to Auburn, I think from that point on, we're like, okay, we're on our own now. Like we're gonna do this separate. I mean, this is a whole new life, a new chapter of our lives. We got to do it independently. So I think we all kind of developed our own mind to do things, how we did them. And yeah, we talk every so often, but I think that yeah, that kind of separation started kicking in. But yeah, after that, we still came back, and talk as
It was
brothers.
traumatic.
But it was different from then on. Now we got to
Right.
do things, totally
Yep.
independent. We can't, you know, depend on each other. Hey, did you get the notes from that class? Man, did you read that book? Man, what did you? Because I didn't get to read it. What you think? What's gonna be on this test?
Is that how it was like when you were younger? Really?
In high school, yeah, because at least for
Oh,
the same classes, there was because we were
oh,
pretty
okay.
busy. With
Yeah.
I remember like going to like a Boy Scout meeting and then changing in the car to go to a basketball game and then getting
Yeah,
home and like trying to get stuff done and oof,
yeah,
it was busy. And so we Rolly would read something or I read it and then we'd kind of talk about it. Um, or we would have similar assignments and I would do it most of mine, or he wouldn't do it, or whatever that was. Um, but to your point, Valerie, I don't think even the teachers were never like, "You're not like your brother." You're not like I don't
Mm.
think the teachers ever made that kind of
parents, yeah.
explicit, at least
Okay.
explicit comparison. I never felt like
Good.
you should be more like Rolly, or and granted, we were both really good students. We were well behaved,
Mhm.
so we were, I think we were respected, and so there wasn't
Yeah.
an wasn't there was I don't think there was ever a need to compare. Like,
Mm.
no, you
Yeah.
guys are doing what you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
So,
I think that goes for all of us. From at least from what my ma will say when she runs into people who have had us in their classes or other students and stuff. I think the disciplined household made a difference. That we took our studies seriously, right? We all did well in school. We all had a sense of respect for elders and others. So we showed up and we were, participated appropriately as children, but we were also very polite and very considerate. And so I don't think we particularly stood out in any way when we were kids, not in a way that was, drawing any kind of attention to us, anyways. But
Negative attention. Yeah.
negative attention, exactly. Yeah. And I do want to say, just all three of you are Eagle Scouts, right? And have developed quite a reputation there too, and in the community. We all had an opportunity to also, play instruments and band or piano and all sorts of things. So we were engaged in life. We had a lot of stuff growing up, and I think our parents had played a role in the creating the structure, the family structure, and the safety and security that we needed so that we could do all these extra things and do so comfortably. And so I just want us to take a
Right.
moment to just acknowledge that Mama and Daddy put together a really great foundation for us to be able to build on, right? And that we are now
absolutely.
modeling what we saw them model with their siblings. And whether or not, Ricky and Rolly, your kids pick up on any of the stuff that we're doing, they have the personality and the need and desire. They know that it's possible. Um, and yeah, I'm excited. I brag so much that I'm so, I love my brothers incredibly, and that we get along so well, and I get so much from this relationship. I was like, man, yeah, of course y'all have to be on this podcast. We got to show and represent like what like a true sibling connection could do, right? The power of it, the benefit of it.
Right.
Not everybody has it, and not everybody needs to have a blood connection in order for that to happen, right? So part
Yeah.
of the
Mm.
Yeah.
idea of circle of influencers and circle of people is that you get to also pick and choose very intentionally who you connect with and who provides that kind of support for you. That, some of us, some people they don't have any siblings, or if they do, their siblings are not that, they don't have the kind of connection that we do. So, but I don't want to take it for granted. I love each of you dearly. I think you guys are amazing humans.
We love you
Raising,
too, Valerie.
thank you. I was waiting. I was like, okay, how many times I gotta say it? Woo! No, I'm playing. No, but I do. I think that this was a fun exercise, and just again opportunity for us to share a little bit about peek behind the hope dynamic. Any final words or advice perhaps, or inspiration for anyone listening to how they can connect with their siblings and or their any member of their family?
Keep hope alive.
Keep hope alive.
Yay.
Well,
Here, here.
so I mean, I think that's what Rolly just did there was an example, right? Humor. right? Just have
Yeah.
fun with each other. It doesn't have to be that serious. It doesn't always have to be that deep.
Mhm.
It's just really it's just, the intentional touch points of connecting with your
Yeah.
siblings, especially if it's already difficult to begin with. You got to find those areas of similarity and,
Mm.
exploit those and then grow from there. So,
There you go. All right. Humor. Any others?
I
Be
mean,
intentional. I think you'd be intentional too. Like, let's say you don't talk to your siblings often. Start like make it. Try to make it a thing. Make it a habitual. Like, at least say to yourself, you know what? I'm going to reach out at least once every 2 weeks or however you do it, and just be consistent. I think that's a important piece, just to be consistent, be intentional, deliberate about, I want to start having a better relationship with my brother and my sister. I think I'm gonna have to take some actions to make that happen. I don't think they're gonna just,
Yeah.
oh, it's not just gonna develop, without doing some kind of work,
Mm.
putting some kind of labor, some kind of effort in it. And
Effort.
yeah.
Mm.
Especially if you don't have one ongoing already, you got to develop one. It's got to come from somewhere.
Sure.
I
Dito?
don't have anything to add to that. I mean, that's all very well stated. Intentionality and keeping it fun.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, that's what's possible. So go
No
Yeah.
for it.
intellectual stimulation or any sort of
That's what
philosophical.
it'll come, as you're talking.
That's right.
Yeah,
uh,
it'll come
organic.
out.
It'll be organic
It will.
versus forced. Because
Yes.
typically when you try to force something and then it's like, I don't want to talk about it. But if it just happens to come out, and that's I think there's an element of quality versus quantity, right? And so, when you talk to people, just random strangers, it's better to just have a quantity type of conversation where you can talk about anything, and then out of that you'll have little nuggets of quality that pop up,
Yeah.
right? Versus I'm going to talk to so and so about this, and we're going
Yeah.
to get down to
It's gonna be
business, and it's
amazing.
right, like, and I don't have the time to
Yeah.
talk to you, or I don't want to talk to you, or
Mm.
and you never get past that initial block.
Yeah. But I think to put a finer point on it, we started getting these sibling connection moments together during the pandemic, right? Because we were
Mhm.
all so, you know, isolated for some time. And we started doing this. I don't know if we were just doing it once a month at the time. I think we were almost like doing, were we always once a month or weekly, maybe? I don't know if we were more,
The sibling talk.
yeah,
Hmm. Yeah, I think it's always been once a month.
once a month.
Yeah,
Probably
probably.
once a
Okay.
month. I
So
think
yeah,
we were
so we
doing because we
started.
were doing the Spanish thing, right?
Hmm.
Oh,
That was
Dito, yeah, Dito started
that
those
was
Spanish
weekly.
neighborhood lessons with our
Yeah,
relatives.
I think
Yeah.
that was weekly, and
Yep.
then we're
Mm,
like, we can, let's talk because
it evolved.
even like those because we did like I think we did like Thanksgiving. Remember we did the games with it's just
Hmm.
like a
Hmm.
We
this,
had some
and
stuff
we're
with
like, well, hey,
relatives.
wait a
Yeah.
second, we can talk this way too, and so I think it
Yeah.
just kind of grew out of those opportunities.
But I think, yeah, like that's kind of like the quantity you were talking about. Just do it, just get together. Something might pop off and be
And
great.
see what
Maybe
happens. Yeah.
not. Maybe it's just a basic check-in or whatever. But the more we started doing it, I think the more we started to see, hey, I really enjoy hearing their perspective, or hey, this is kind of fun. So we've been doing it for years now. What, 4 years?
If not,
Something
if
like
not
that.
2020,
Since
yeah,
2020.
since
Yeah.
then, yeah.
So this is pretty awesome. And then our larger family on Daddy's side, we had the getting to know you conversations, right? We started a little family podcast for some time also to bring again new connections to one another, and started doing that pretty regularly too. But yeah, if nothing else, I think the intentionality, like you were saying, Roli, and the idea of being, somewhat spontaneous in what we talk about, but just make the priority the getting connected,
Connection. Yeah.
getting together. My wish, my vision is still that all four of us go on a trip. I don't know, because I think it'll be a blast. We all travel really well together. That's the other thing. Oh my gosh, that's like a whole other episode. We travel so well together. because we have moved across different countries and states and been in 115-degree weather crossing the country, the US and all that. But I think that's the other thing. We're super adaptable, all of us. And I think we love to learn. So there's not a lot of drama when we travel. It's been kind of cool actually. So I put it in the bucket list for something that we should all do at some point, to find some place interesting or fun, or for us to all get together, all four of us to get together. Putting it out there in the universe. All right.
All right.
Anything else? That's it? All right. Well, the three of you hang out. Silent clap, little jazz hands, jazz hands. Good job. Y'all hang out here for a second. But for the rest of you who've been tuning into this conversation, you saw it was super mellow, obviously, this version of us, and because we're people and we're disciplined, we're not crazy folks. But we absolutely I think the message here is for find your family, whatever connection you can make with people that you consider family, whether it's the family you choose or the family that you have. And also the idea of being intentional, just having fun, finding moments of connection with one another. And, if nothing else, being in each other's circle and universe helps you support and guide as needed, or at least to make the connection so evident that there's always a level of trust, right? I think that's one of the things that having these frequent contact points has helped us develop a level of trust, so that when big things happen or when difficult things happen, we already know that we have each other that we can lean on. We don't have to wait for some tragic something before, and then trying to figure out if we have anybody we can call for support or for some guidance. Okay. So anyway, I appreciate all three of you for saying yes to being on the podcast and putting out business out there in the streets. And for those of you who tuned into this episode, thank you all so much. Go reach out to somebody in your family and say hi, and just let them know what you appreciate and what benefit you have received from them. And thank you all so much for joining us. Have a wonderful rest of the day. Thanks for joining me on this episode of The Circle of Hope. Don't forget to subscribe, follow, and share with someone in your circle. And if you're curious about the upcoming book, visit valeriehope.com for updates and extras. Until then, stay connected.